Joining us now exclusively is Yossi Zilberman, who is an Israeli diplomat, also the deputy spokesperson at Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Mr. Zilberman, thank you so much for speaking with India today, sir. My first question to you is, as far as your operation in southern Israel is concerned, specifically areas that were targeted by Hamas on Saturday morning, have you been able to liberate all of those areas? And also, what reports are you hearing, sir, about those who are being held hostage or captive by Hamas in the Gaza Strip?
Well, thank you very much for having me. First of all, there are still events of fighting along the border between us and Gaza. There are still heavy fighting from time to time. Just yesterday, there were some terrorists that tried to infiltrate Israel once again and to hurt civilians, as happened on Saturday. And we are facing still very fierce fighting along this area. Regarding the hostages that are being held by Hamas, we are still waiting for, let's say, better news. Just yesterday, we saw, perhaps you saw as well, the pictures from Al Jazeera. Hamas released some footage of allegedly his good kindness in order to show that he is releasing civilians. But to be honest, Hamas is a terror organization, a very vicious one, and they have murdered so many civilians and citizens during this Saturday and after that as well, that the release of one mother and two children that are not even her children, they were her friend's children, that her friend was murdered by those Hamas terrorists. So this is not an act of kindness by Hamas. They are a ruthless bunch of terrorists, and this is how we are going to handle them as well.
So we've seen some very disturbing reports of barbaric acts allegedly committed by Hamas terrorists, about the beheading of babies, of families being gunned down while they were asleep in their beds. Do you confirm those reports, sir?
Absolutely, and not allegedly. Unfortunately, I've been yesterday in Ofakim, a town a little bit far away from the Gaza Strip, but as well that suffered from terrorists that roamed the streets and took hostages and shot civilians in the streets. And the pictures that are seen from the kibbutzim, from the villages near the Gaza Strip, are even more terrible. I don't know how to find even the words. We're talking about whole families that were burnt alive. We're talking about the elderly, people that were 90 years old that were shot in the head. I read yesterday about a woman that was taken out of her house. 90 years old. We are talking about families, whole families. There is a couple of parents that was murdered, and the terrorists left their twin children alive. Their 10-month twin children alive, where they shot both parents. Any morals that we, as the civilized world, perceive them. And this is why we are at war, and we are going to win it against those vicious terrorists.
Right, so we've also seen a lot of mobilization of your forces along the border with Gaza. Is there a probability of a ground invasion that the Israeli Defense Forces could soon be launching into the Gaza Strip?
I won't elaborate right now regarding military plans, especially because I'm not a military person, but as well, we're not here in order to inform this brutal enemy about our plans. But I am positive, and I can assure you that we will do whatever it takes to uproot this terror organization, Hamas from Gaza in order, I mean, these scenes will not return. And if it means that there is no Hamas terrorist that will stay alive after this event, this will happen. We are talking about murderous organization that sought to destroy and to wreak havoc, and we will confront them in any way we can in order not to return to those images from Saturday ever again. I just want to give a perspective. Till now, we know about 1,200 people that were murdered by Hamas terrorists, most of them civilians. Some of them were partying in an event outside of one of the villages, and they were slaughtered. This is something that is incomprehensible. Maybe the audience don't know how many people there are in Israel. In Israel, we're a small country, only 10 million people. Most of us know the one person, sometimes more, of the people that were murdered. This is something that is, we are a very small country, very, very interconnected. And for us, we took it very, very personal. And this is how we are going to handle it as well.
Okay. Mr. Zilberman, thank you so much for speaking with India Today, sir.